So we got there in the end. Today is another day. We're back again at the studio for MoneyWise Doctors, and we've got a really special gentleman today. We'll call him the Duke. He's certainly not the Duke of Cornwall, but he's the Duke somewhere up north. He's a fantastic writer. He writes prose. He's a medical doctor, a GP, but he's much more than that. He's also the CEO and founder of Timewash, which is it sounds at the beginning, when you look at it, it sounds like a car wash, but it's not just a car wash, it's a special arrangement that allows doctors and healthcare professionals to be able to book car wash to get their cars washed while they're still at work or at home at their convenience. Well, I go to car washes, but I haven't seen a car wash that has an app until I saw Time Wash. So Time Wash is a special arrangement. I'm sure that I haven't done full justice to your portfolio. I know you've written a book or maybe two, but I'm going to let you introduce yourself, Dr. Obi, and tell us a bit more about what you do.
Hello. My name is Dr. Obi Oji. I'm sure I probably wouldn't have said it any better than you have, but just because it's me, I would have to say a bit more. But yeah, I am a GP. I am the founder of Timewash, which is the first NHS based on site eco friendly car care solution.
Hmm.
So, like Andy said, what we do is we provide on site washing for NHS staff. We just have to pre-book and then we'll sort out every detail. And at the end of your shift, you have a clean, sparkling car to go home to.
Wow.
I am also a writer. I have a couple of books under my wings. I've got another one hopefully in the next couple of months. Um, the things I'm passionate about is really about providing solutions, finding things that can be fixed, looking at where people are struggling and finding a way to sort them out with intuitive thinking. So um, I, I can at least spare a second to say how well you've done with your MoneyWise Doctor apparatus. It's growing in leaps and bounds, and clearly, I'm sure we will be able to get something.
Thank you
What's
very
it?
much. I can see you're being called in the background. There are people that want your attention. So I
Yeah,
appreciate you.
attention. All right. So currently we are at Levante. It's a Spanish town.
Hmm.
I think the most popular name would be the Benidorm brand. I think
Oh, so it's closer
that
to
should be more
Benidorm.
popular. Yeah,
Right.
it's a coastal town. It's just day one, so I don't really have a lot that I have seen, but
Yeah.
we've got a few more days to be able to explore the city and
So
maximize the
you
fun.
probably have warmer temperature there. This is what Dukes do. Once the snow starts falling, they escape to a
Yes,
warmer.
I know it was snowing at the time we left the UK, so but it's different. It's a bit chilly, but there's some sun, so it's a good mix,
That's
a
fun.
welcome break.
That's fantastic. I mean, you work hard. You're a hardworking guy. You deserve the break and everything. Right. So
Yeah.
let's delve in. Basically, I know you've mentioned you do time wash. You've got a couple of books. One of them is right here on my shelf. To air is woman. Did I get that
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
And you write
Yeah.
more than your books. You do a lot of useful, short, funny, entertaining stuff you write online. But I'm interested in going back a bit, in terms of before you got to this point where you have all these things going on. Right. I'm interested in where did your journey start? Your journey of entrepreneurship. I mean, you're a doctor and you do all these things because an average doctor tends to just focus on their
Yeah.
work and try to locum and all of that. But you're doing a bit more. Where did this all start? Have you always been that way, or is that something that got sparked at some point?
Yeah, so it's an interesting question because personally I've had to do some introspection maybe a few weeks back to say, what was it? What was the game changer for me? Where did I start to feel the need to do more?
Hmm.
And I think it does date to maybe, well, in medical school, in the early years of med school, I've got some form of historically business minded parents.
Okay.
So I think that was again an extra boost. My mom did run a grocery store, and at some point I remember I insisted that we start to sell kerosene at the time. So
All right.
and she asked me to invest in that aspect of our business. So I got some money. I bought a few liters of kerosene, and then I had the marketing up to myself. So at the time, I put out a notice: "Buy your sweet kerosene here," and people were like,
Sweet
"Kerosene sweet."
kerosene.
There's odd things like that that I think got me a bit more vested in investing and in business as a principle. So I carried it through medical school.
Yeah.
Some of the people who know me from way back, they probably will remember that I did run a provision store again in medical school,
Oh,
and
okay. You had a provision store
yeah,
while you were in med school.
yeah, I did.
Okay.
Um, it's not the most conventional, but yes, I think I'm more fulfilled when I'm meeting needs.
Okay.
Medicine has its role. I
Hmm.
know it's a bit more holistic, but in
Yeah.
terms of meeting the key needs of human existence, food,
Yeah.
water, security,
Mm.
shelter,
Basic
where I
needs.
can help,
Hmm.
basic needs, I would usually invest myself to do that. It does give me a special sense of fulfillment.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, that one is going to stick to my head now. Sweet kerosene. Um, uh, I know I never said this, but most people don't know that when I was a teenager, I was selling kerosene while preparing for my job to get into medical
Oh
school.
wow!
In fact,
So we've got some.
one of our mutual friends who have sadly passed,
Yeah,
where we met, he came to buy kerosene from. Yeah,
yeah.
but my kerosene was not sweet. Yours was sweet. Yeah. Yeah, so what I can pull out from that is that obviously it didn't just start from nowhere. You started, I mean, a lot of entrepreneurs, medics, and I find that whatever side hustle they do, they started a while back. But it didn't stop at that. You continued even to the point where you're creating new stuff. I know you got Time Wash. When I did a bit of preparation for this podcast, I found out that you also got an e-commerce store that you run with your wife, an e-commerce business. So you're meeting needs on various fronts. Yeah, but but at the end of the day, one big question that most people will ask is, you're a GP, and I know you're not just like a GP like me who goes to work every now and then to keep their license. You're an active GP. How do you balance this with your family life, with your businesses? How do you find the time to do all of that?
Okay, so yeah, that's something that I have had to explain over time. Really, I'm lucky that I have a wife who understands how my mind works. So
Okay.
I've got support, massive support on the home front, because
Wow.
that takes a chunk of the stress away if you've got someone who understands your vision.
That always helps. Shout
So
out to.
yeah, so yeah, I'll give her the credit for that. But beyond that, special support that she provides, what I find myself doing in life, you do have to prioritize. You do have to say where is your passion most, and
Yeah,
what do you have to do to be able to make your passion sustainable. So
absolutely.
my passion, especially at this age, is more in creating opportunities and solving problems.
Hmm.
Um, the medical bit of my personality, obviously, is still there. I still have to do the job. I still have to provide some significant care to my patients.
Yep.
So, and that's again indispensable. So it's balancing these two.
Hmm.
One of them I do because I love to do. The
Okay.
other one I love to do and I have to do it. So it's just marrying both. And truly, for everyone, if you the only thing you don't find time for is what you don't love.
Hmm.
So it's just doing what you love really, and using the
Absolutely.
hours in the day.
So the striking thing you said there, the only thing you don't find time for is what you don't love. I mean, one would think you're on holiday, you're abroad at the moment, and then I'm also sort of like in between meetings and all that stuff. And we're finding time to do this stuff. Maybe we love getting in front of a camera. Maybe we love talking to ourselves and giving people unsolicited advice over the internet. We finally got like
Well,
1,100
the,
subscribers who
the,
like our unsolicited advice.
yeah, true. Yes. There's no doubt. There's no loss. It's a win-win. You don't know who's gonna be listening. You don't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
whom you're speaking to. So hopefully, someone picks one bit or the other from what we do.
Absolutely. So the Duke, that's an interesting name. How did that name come about? Was that when you came to the UK and people looked at you and the name fits quite well. I mean, for my audience who don't know you or they haven't heard you speak or they might not understand, but the name seems to rest quite well on you. How did that name come about? Yeah, how did the name the Duke come about?
All right. So it's. I think it was just timing. Um, what was that movie that was that we had the Duke feature in? Let me remember now.
I think I know the one. I think
Um,
I know the one. Is that Bridgerton?
Brid- Bridgerton, yeah. So it was Bridgerton and the very popular character they had there, the Duke, who it seemed like he had quite some. It did look like he was well liked. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, coincidentally, obviously the NDUK they were looking for Duke up and down. I'm like, people should stop looking.
That's
So,
interesting.
but it was more of jest and banter, really.
Yeah,
It was just me catching cues like I often try to do online. So, and somehow I said it so often that it
it's
started
stuck.
to
It's
become
stuck.
personal.
It's stuck. It's
Yeah.
stuck. Now, when we think of you first as the Duke before we think of you as Dr. Obi.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, it's all right.
That's fantastic. So let's get into here. MoneyWiseDoctor.com. Obviously, you knew we were going to talk about money when we get here. We're not probably going to go into relationship advice. That's not what we do. We talk about doctors' finances, doctors and businesses, how doctors can maximize their finances. So let's start in terms of the businesses you do. We mentioned a few, but could you tell us a little bit more about what businesses you do or any interesting investments you've done so far? I think we'll start with Time Wash and then we'll go down the line for the others that we don't know about.
All right. So clearly, Time Watch is the one that I have given the most exposure to because it's a it's a startup, so it's not like I've gone to invest in an already existing business.
Yes.
Um, and because we did have a bit of a niche, it was easy to try to target who exactly we built it to, and then try to
Yes.
sell it to them. And
Mm.
because it is a company that is looking beyond the present, there is some futuristic tendency to it. So it's probably still early days, but we've got our eyes on the journey. So
Yes.
we're building Time Watch to be able to replicate it across the UK and beyond. I keep saying so. It's still very early in that process, but yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
that's one business as an
yes. So just sorry to interrupt. For someone who doesn't understand, what does Time Wash do? What makes it different from other car washes?
uh, yeah. So there are a few things that make us unique. The fact that we employ eco-friendly washing solutions. So we're
Hmm.
working with high-pressure steam washers. We are on site on NHS car parks.
Oh, okay.
So basically, we have staff who come to work like any other day. And
Hmm.
then, if they've been booked to get a wash done,
Yeah.
we sort out their cars while they're at work. This we do without making a mess of the environment, without leaving any sawdust or water across the parking lots.
Hmm.
And obviously, the key thing is the timeliness. So we've got, as in the name Time Wash, we try to stick to the time that those people are booked into wash. So clearly, if you've got a shift that takes you from 8 to 2 and you've got a slot for 1, the expectation is that your car will be done at the time you booked in for, and we wouldn't be the reason why you leave work late. So
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
so that's the difference. That's the difference between it and the regular hand car wash or any other car wash out there.
That is
So
fantastic. That is fantastic. I mean, I'd like to have my car washed while I'm doing the sportscaster or while I'm seeing a patient, rather than having to drive
yeah,
my car to the car wash and then go out for a walk and then come back. So that's fantastic. I'm
yeah,
sure we'll have a link to
yeah.
Time Wash in the show notes for those who want to check it out. Which we will soon send a delegation to the Duke to convince them to set up some Time Wash franchises in the
Come
southwest,
on.
down in Cornwall and Devon. It seems they started from the north, but we want them to give us some consideration because the NHS hospitals
Yeah.
here could actually do with some time wash. All right, let's go to the next one. I know you're a man of many hats.
Well, yeah. The other thing is perhaps not as high key, but obviously I've got a few interests in real estate in the UK, so and back home in Nigeria as well. So these are all, all right. Expected to be passive income. So, um, but yes, it does. It does. It does. It's a gradual thing. I think you only carry as much as you can carry at a time, but clearly
Absolutely.
I understand the power of real estate. I understand the prospects it holds, and I try to
Hmm.
use some portion of what my income is to invest in that area. So
To invest in real estate. I know you're being very modest, the Duke. Yeah, because someone, a GP, a colleague, said he visited you, and after he visited you, his new house, which is a fantastic house, by the way, his new house I've been to a few years ago, now look like a toy house because he'd been to your mansion. So I know you have some investment in real estate.
well, people can say what they like, but
I know.
invariably, we all live in houses. We all live. We've got accommodation, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, we all live in houses. That's lovely. Do you want to tell us a bit about this e-commerce business? What is it you guys sell? If you want to tell us the shop.
Yeah, so we've got an online profile where we sell some kids' gadgets. This is mostly uh, piloted by my wife. So we're selling writing tablets, which we've had made to specification from abroad, and then we've got them on eBay.
Wow,
I think she's got an store as well. But yeah, again,
that is
well, it's just one of the things on the side. I strongly believe that money is best working for you. It's best you put it in something that can eventually yield something. So I try to sell it across board.
I mean, it's nice to have multiple streams of income because part of the joy I find that the joy I get from practicing medicine is being able to go as much or as little as I want to do it and knowing that it's not my sole source of income. It's
Yeah.
interesting you have an e-commerce shop. I remember 4 or 5 years ago when I was a junior doctor, when I was a trainee, we launched an e-commerce store as well. Because then, obviously,
Yeah.
junior doctors in the UK don't get paid that very much, and that is part of why the
Yeah.
strike, I'll say, can be quite
Mm-hmm.
justified. So I needed to have that additional source of income. So that was part of
Yeah.
why I
Yeah.
started an e-commerce store. Until today, the e-commerce store runs now, and I put in like zero effort into it. Um, but the
Mm-hmm.
funny bit is that MoneyWise Doctor, which is all free and doesn't make any money, takes me so much time compared to the e-commerce store, which pays for itself.
Well, you shouldn't be surprised. Like I said, the early days are usually going to be demanding of your time.
Yeah,
So, for money wise doctors, it's early days.
yes,
You're taking up new challenges. You
yes,
need to build a structure.
yes,
So, it's same thing all across board.
yes.
Over time, hopefully, if you stick to the dream long enough, there is no reason why you won't get to that point where you're looking back and say zero effort, so much income.
I suppose part of it is my wife will ask me, is this MoneyWise doctor? Is it a business or a hobby? Just because I,
Um,
she sees how much I enjoy doing it, and she says it spares her
yeah,
having to hear all about finance and economics and all that because
yeah,
she's had it for many years since we've been married. She's now become a MoneyWise doctor herself. So she said, "Yeah, it's good. I have
yeah,
a blog or a podcast where I can tell people all those ideas." So that if I tell it to
yeah,
a thousand, 2,000 people out there, then she doesn't have to hear me talk
yeah,
about how you can optimize your taxes and make sure you're not paying too much or make sure you're getting your best returns from the
yeah,
stock market. So
uh-huh,
I love that. I
yeah,
love that you've got like those multiple sources of income and all that. Right. But I don't imagine it was like that from the beginning. I'm sure that you landed in the UK like many people. I don't know if you came in with inheritance or a big pot of money. Can you
oh,
tell us
family.
what the journey was like? Yeah, what was the journey like from the beginning, from the plot period?
Yes, sir. Yeah, so it's a funny story. 6 years, 7 years back, it was a different scenario. Um, Clearly, we've had to do. We've done our time. We've done the building process,
Yeah.
the making mistakes,
Mm,
learning from them, going again, trying to play by the book, falling afoul in certain cases, and learning. I think the most important in all of this is the process and the experiences you get as you grow. So it
absolutely.
hasn't always been easy. Even
Yeah.
now, I'm sure it's not terribly easy, but it's we can look back and say yes, we are not where we used to be,
Yeah.
and there
Yes.
is something to show that we aren't where we used to be. So
Yes.
it's good.
I can imagine. Some people do different types of job in the UK. When people tell you the jobs they've done, especially those that came in as students, you'll be surprised when you see them. But you said
Yeah,
we are not where you wish to be yet. Obviously, you're still on a journey. But also, if you look back,
yeah,
you're not where you used to be. Because where you are
hmm,
now, for some people, is like a big. They're looking at it and like, oh, if I can get to the duchy if I can get to where the Duke
yeah.
is, I would have made it. But what you realize that when you get there, you realize that there are levels to this thing.
There's many more
Yeah,
challenges, many more things to conquer. So
yeah,
I think everyone should enjoy where you are. It gets better with time for those who are new to the system, or maybe you're not so new, but you think
mhm,
it's been you running from pillar to post.
yeah.
Enjoy the
It's the
time.
journey.
Uh, it's a journey. Use the experiences you get to make better choices, and it, it's the choices that actually make the difference, really. So it
Hmm,
does get better for
hmm.
most people, but you do need to put in the time.
You need to put in the time. Yeah, things are not going to magically align. You need to build the
No.
networks, build the relationships, learn what you need to learn. If you need to get certified, especially as an immigrant, get certified. You know,
Yeah.
you might have been like a chief consultant or a senior engineer back in your country before
Yeah.
you came, but you still need to learn what you need to learn. You before we
Yeah.
came on the podcast, you were like, "Oh yeah, we're still on the journey," and I think I was telling you something about being on the bus stop. You're saying, "Oh yeah, we're at the bus stop," and I said, "Yeah, even Elon Musk. Elon Musk is also at the
Yeah.
stop, but his own might be the
At the best
space
stop.
stop." So it might be at the base stop. Some people are at the airport. Some people are at the bus stop. And and what's important is that you're looking at where you were because most times people are thinking, and that is part of why a lot of us. It took us a while before we started creating content or telling people what we do. You find out that what
Mhm.
you take for granted, what you already know, that you get like 10, 20 people calling you every week. How can I do this? How can I do that? Because you're
Mhm.
thinking, I'm not yet
Mhm.
there. I'm not yet a billionaire. And I'm thinking, oh, yeah, I just, it sounds like I'm trying to say I've arrived. But basically, you're teaching us your own experience. You're teaching people what you already do. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
say with most people find it very valuable. Find it really valuable. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's next? I know you're thinking of at some point starting to create video, audio content, and yeah. Do you want to tell us a bit more, or is this still under wraps?
Well, this is the first time I'm talking about it, so
Oh, good.
why not?
So I can say that the
There's
first
no
time you
bad
mentioned it
publicity.
was a
There's
MoneyWise
no
doctor.
bad publicity. hmm Yeah, so it's to be honest, I said to prepare for this maybe 2 years ago. Just after COVID, I wanted to do a podcast. I got a few materials, got a few equipment, but it didn't seem quite right. I didn't have the there's a degree of comfortable you need to be before cameras before you get going. So um, I would say I've been doing the inside job on myself, trying to improve that aspect of me. I'm happy to write. I can write without being asked to, but to speak in front of cameras, be live, be recorded, that's a different kettle. So I've worked on myself to some extent. I'm still very juvenile, still going to make the rookie mistakes. But yes, I'm looking to produce something in the next, well, hopefully 2024. Discussing the IMG's journeys,
Yes.
discussing my journey, looking at the entrepreneur journey. So it's mostly a podcast, a YouTube channel to discuss people maximizing the potentials that they are.
Mm.
So it would be uplifting. It would be realistic because we'll be looking at real life scenarios and we'll be taking advices, however unsolicited, to improve everybody's experience.
Well, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait for it to go live. I'm going to be one of your subscribers. I can,
Thank
I
you.
can fully, I'll say resonates with me. I've been writing for a long time. I've been an editor in chief, and I've always been writing.
Yeah.
And funny enough, when I was in my early 20s, 21, 22, I'll be in seminars, conferences. I'll be on, like I'll be on TV and radio and all that. But when it came
Yeah.
to pointing a camera to myself, it's different when you're on stage. I really hesitated for a very long time. I thought, oh, no, I don't want. No, I'm not one of those social media content creator,
Yeah.
social media influencer, blogger. Oh, look at me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But at the end of the day, like people taking information in different ways. And while I still
True.
write, we still write our newsletter every week, MoneyWise Doctor Weekly. We send out our newsletter to thousands of
Yeah.
subscribers every week. I will still write on the blog. But once I started doing video, I was like, oh, I should have started this long ago. All you need to do is to do one. And the first one, who cares? It's going to be bad, or the quality might
Yeah.
not be great. And we're
Yeah.
not yet at the zenith. We're still doing stuff. But after a while, you find out that if you just keep improving,
Get the
and
hang of it.
and the second thing, you realize that nobody really cares. Your neighbors or your friends, your primary school friends, they don't really care that you're on video. Maybe sometimes you will think, oh, they're going to think that, oh, is this what Obi after medical school in UK decided to
Yeah.
now go and be on camera and trying to make jokes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, but
my dad rang me. My dad rang me like 3 weeks ago. So I had this video where there's one of the uh, YouTube content creators came around to my time wash hut, and they
yes,
did a video of me doing that. So my dad rang me.
oh
Says
wow,
amongst our omuna, you know what omuna is now, our
yeah,
kinsmen,
like your
and they're calling him to ask him, no, is it no moto Kobira and Atazana. I'm like, yes, if you tell them yes, if that would give him peace of mind, why
Yeah,
not?
this is the journey, right? When you're building, I can imagine that. Let's say McDonald's, if you watch that movie, Entrepreneur, or the founder, sorry, you find out that at the beginning
Yeah,
you're cooking the burgers, you're doing stuff by yourself. When it blows up and becomes
absolutely,
a
yeah,
multi-million pound franchise, and it's global, nobody remembers that at that point. You had to do what you had to
uh,
do. Yeah, yeah. Well.
yeah. I don't mind.
No, it's fantastic. I mean, thank you for taking out the time. I know you're on holiday, so you should be relaxing fully. I suspect we're going to have you back. Maybe when we start your channel and we've got some more, we can go into some more nitty-gritty. We'll probably have better equipment then at that point as well. Or not equipment, better technical know-how of videos and all that.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
you even be more camera native at that point. Yeah, so do you have any parting words or things you'd like to tell to, our audience?
All right, so I would like to again say how wonderful your channel is,
All right,
and
so I'm
what you're
blushing
doing.
now.
No, I'm very serious because
Yeah, thank you for
money is
that.
not. Nobody likes to talk about the details when it concerns money. Me
Mm.
inclusive. There are times I've had meetings maybe with an accountant and I keep deferring it because I have an idea what they're going to say and I know I'm not going to like it.
Yeah,
So money is not. Everybody loves money, but not everybody wants to know the details.
no,
So you found that vacuum and you're filling it quite extensively. So just keep at it. Same thing I've got to say to everyone. Consistency eventually pays. If consistency in good, you will get leaps and bounds in good. So just keep at it, and I'm sure uh, in a 6 months, 12 months time, it will be a different story. So
fantastic. Thank you very much for that. We really appreciate it. I'll take it
thanks,
to
man.
heart. Now, when we want to find you, I'm still aware that for hospitals in Cornwall and Devon, we don't have a time wash yet. But let's say, where are you located? Where are your front? Where is time wash located? If people wanted to, because we've got
Yes,
about, I think, a thousand subscribers now, and vast majority of them are
yeah.
doctors. Where can they use your services? Where can they find you?
Yes. So we are currently based at the Northeast Hospital. Um, we are just at the main Vistas car park, which is
Hmm,
opposite the A&D, and it's a conspicuous hut we're using. It's got the Time Wash brand all across it.
nice.
Um,
Nice. And you have a website as well and an app, isn't it?
yeah, so we've got, you can easily find us on www.timewash.org.
Mm.
Um, you obviously choose whatever services you want, and the time and the payments, all of that you can do on the website. And on, yeah,
Wow, that's amazing. So we're going to put that in the show notes, www.timewash.org. So not .com, go to
yeah,
.org and you get an app.
.org, yeah.
Yeah, go and check them out. I haven't used it personally, but I've heard really, really fantastic testimonies from
Well,
people
we've
who
got
use it.
very excellent reviews.
Yeah,
Fortunately,
yeah,
take us up on Trustpilot. Been
yeah.
great so far.
Yeah, you guys have got really good reviews, and who wouldn't want that sort of like being able to go to work, get that convenience of having your car washed? I'll pay for that. As far I'll happily pay a bit more than I pay for my regular car wash to have that done. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for sharing your wisdom, your experience, and your insights with us. And when you start your channel, let us know. We're looking forward to um, coming over to learn and support you in any way we can. And
Well, you know you're
yeah.
my boss in that regard and many other regards. So I've already said lynching you in that aspect, but it's okay.
All right, thank you. All right then. All right. So
All
for
right, thank you.
Right. So for yeah, thank you for joining us for that interview with Dr. Obi. Obviously, if you want to get more insights on finances for doctors, healthcare professionals, we invite you to visit www.moneywisedoctor.com. If you're looking to buy your first house, some advice in terms of getting the right mortgage, finding the right mortgage advisors, so go over to www.moneywisedoctor.com on the homepage and you'll be able to download a free book that will give you the step-by-step guide on how to go about it. Right. And of course, if you want to make sure you continue to get notified when we release new content like this or when we release new content that could be helpful on finances, click subscribe and click the notification button to make sure that you're notified anytime we release new content. All right then. Bye bye.